Hello, good morning. Welcome. We're going to keep working on some detailed descriptions of the various asana. And I'm going to add one concept to what we talked about on Tuesday. On Tuesday, I told you that the spine has four functions. So in the neutral spine, there's a lumbar curve called a lordosis, and that's kind of an arch inward. And then the upper back does some degree of kyphosis. And then the cervical spine mimics the lumbar spine. So the neutral spinal position is not perfectly straight up and down. The four basic movements of the spine are flexion, forward bending. So when we do a forward bend, we want to emphasize the stretch in the lumbar and the cervical, which go the other direction. So we're rounding and lengthening the cervical spine and the lumbar spine, and just letting the upper back relax. This is called flexion. The opposite of that is called extension, which is an arch. And when we do extension, we want to emphasize what's happening in the upper back because the lower back is already there a little bit. So just increasing the lordosis is not very helpful. When we do extension, we're arching the spine and emphasizing what's happening in the upper back and the thorax. The two other movements that the spine can do are rotation, which is spiraling around, twisting. And it can also laterally bend, side bend. So we have flexion, extension, rotation, and side bending. There's one more concept that I want to introduce. This is not an anatomical description. It's more of a functional description called axial extension. Which means that we're not really arching the back like we would in usual extension. We're trying to lengthen the distance between the top and the bottom of the spine, just in its neutral position. So we'll work at this in a few postures, but when I ask you to drop the tailbone and lift the crown of the head, that's the idea, axial extension. And I sometimes describe the exhale like squeezing a tube of toothpaste. So if you squeezed in, the contents would go up, and if there was a hole in the bottom, it would go down as well. So lengthening from the top to the bottom is axial extension. Very important when we get to sitting. So we'll work at this in action. Samasthiti, this place where we quite often begin, is an example of a place where you could practice axial extension. You're just standing in a comfortable, natural spine, rooting down through the bottoms of the feet and lifting up through the crown of the head. So you're not rounding or arching the back, you're just lengthening the spine to its full height. So if I don't do anything, I'm probably going to be a little slumped. And this is axial extension, reaching up through the crown while I stay rooted in the feet. So to put that into action, let's just move the arms. And as we do this very simple arm movement, I want you to think of the distance between the tailbone and the crown of the head being really taut and separated away from each other. So the tail's reaching down and the crown of the head is reaching up. As we do this, we're going to tilt the chin down slightly and retract the ears, fix the gaze. Take a moment to establish your breath with the lips gently closed. Breathe in through the nose. Whispered ah in the throat. Inhaling, expanding the chest and then the belly. Exhaling, pulling the belly in, relaxing the shoulders. So as you inhale, feel the chest lift and open. And as you exhale, see if you can get that sense of the tailbone being dropped down while the crown of the head is lifted up. Now, without arching or rounding the back, we'll add a simple arm movement. With the inhale, float the arms forward and up. Keep your palms facing each other and your chin down. And then with the exhale, draw the abdominal wall back towards the spine and lower the arms down the front. And we're keeping the neutral spine but supporting it to its full length. Inhale, raise the arms forward and up. And with the exhale, draw the abdominal wall back towards the spine. Relax the shoulders as the arms come down. Let's do that 2 more times. Keep the awareness of the distance between the tailbone and the very top of the head. Once more. Remember to inhale into the chest first and then the belly. And exhale from the belly first, and then the chest. Okay, now I want you to feel the difference between that movement that we just did and Tadasana, that balance that we often start the class with. Tadasana is actually a back bend. So you're going to actually try to arch the spine, and we're going to keep moving the arms to the front to accentuate that effect. Let's try 4 repetitions and 4 breaths of stay. And I want you to feel what's happening in the upper back. You want to feel like you're tilting your chest up. If you have a headlight on the sternum, when you start it's pointing forward, and when you go into the balance, it should be up on about a 45 degrees. The chin will stay down, so it's not by clenching the neck that we're going to find extension in the upper back. By lifting the breastbone. Fix the gaze. With the inhale, we're going to raise the heels, raise the arms, and tilt the breastbone up. Imagine that headlight shining up towards the ceiling. Your chin is still down. You should feel that the spine is arching. At exhale, draw the belly back in towards the spine, release the arms, bring the heels down. That's a different sensation in the back than simply the arm lift that we did before. Again, inhale, breathe into the chest, raise the arms and the heels, keep your chin down, but go ahead and arch the back. Tilt your breastbone up towards the ceiling or the junction between the ceiling and the wall, and exhale, lower the arms, and bring the heels back down. Again, inhale, float the arms and the heels up, lift the chest. Imagine if you could tilt the breastbone to look up more towards the ceiling. And exhale, lower down, find a support in the belly. We're going to lift up 1 more time and start staying for 4 breaths. Inhale, raise the arms, lift the heels. Feel the breastbone tilt up, keep your chin down, and stay in that arched back as you exhale. Feel the belly pull into the spine. And then stay while you inhale. See if you can lift the breastbone a little farther from the belly button. Exhale, pull the belly to the spine. Keep the chin down. And inhale, lift the breastbone a little higher. If it's hard to keep the heels up, do this with your feet on your heels on the floor. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And then we'll come down with the exhale. Settling the feet back onto the floor, bringing the arms down, keep the gaze steady. Relax the breath and notice the sensations. We did contract the muscles all up the length of the spine. See if you can feel what that's like. Your back is probably saying, okay, yes, I feel that. Can you please now stretch me? Which we will do. We always do a counter pose after a back bend. We're going to do a straight-legged forward bend and review the details. If you want to go stand near the wall so you can feel that your hips are not displacing back, feel free to do that. We start by awareness in the front and back of the foot. As we move into the forward bend, please remember that you don't want your weight to go into your heels, because your back probably feels like you just worked it now. If you let your weight go into your heels, you're just going to be contracting the lower back again more. So we want to undo that contraction in the lower back by rounding. And keep the weight evenly on the front and back of the feet. Your chin will stay down. Inhale, raise the arms forward and up. Now with the exhale, pull the belly button into the spine, tuck your tail under, and bend forward. You might need to bend your knees a little bit. Try to keep your hips without going behind you, and your weight evenly on the front and back of the feet. And keep that even weight distribution as you come back up to the top. Open the chest and lift, and lower the arms down to the front. So if you're going to work at the wall, you can start maybe 12 inches away if you didn't do it the other day, or 6 inches if you know that you can do that. Inhale, raise the arms forward and up. Keep the weight balanced equally under the front and back of the foot. Pull your belly in, bend yourself forward, and see if you can get forward without bumping your hips into the wall. And same thing as you come up. Inhale, you're going to really raise the chest forward, take the arms around the ears, and lift up. Exhale, arms come down the front. Again, inhale, arms forward and up. Exhale with awareness at the front and back of the feet equally. Pull your belly into your spine, your tail between your legs. Relax the upper body to stretch the lower back. And float up with the inhale. Again, try not to let your butt bump into the wall. Exhale, arms down. And we're going to do it one more time, this time to stay for 4 breaths. Inhale, raise the arms forward and up. Chin will stay down. Exhale, draw the belly into the spine, tuck your tail under. Keep the weight equally on the ball and the heel of the foot. You're going to really use your belly to do that. And then stay in the forward bend as you inhale. And as you exhale, pull the belly up into the spine. And stay again while you inhale. Relax the shoulders, breathe into your upper ribs. And with this exhale, see if you can lift your sit bones up towards the ceiling a little bit more. This is a way to straighten the legs without pushing into the knees. Inhale, breathe into the back, the upper back. Exhale, pull the belly to the spine and raise your sit bones higher to the ceiling. One more breath in place there. Notice the weight distribution, equal under the balls of the feet and the heels, and maintain that as you inhale to lift up to the top. And with the exhale, bring the arms down the front. And relax the breathing. And check in with the sensations in the back. Should feel quite different than it felt after we did the balancing back bend. Relax the breath so you can notice. We're going to do the twisted triangle again today with a slightly different focus, because I want you to again think of the axial extension, keeping the crown and the tail really far away from each other. Imagine a metal chain. Think of the way the links are. If you push the links down close into each other and try to turn it, you get no movement. But if you pull the chain up so that the links are as far apart as they can go, then there's a possibility for some movement to occur. Same in the spine. As we want to twist the spine, first we got to make sure it's not compressed, and then we can turn more. So we're trying to lengthen the spine and then twist it. And we're also warming up our hips for what's still to come. So take a comfortably wide stance. Feel the feet, the front and the back of the foot evenly in touching the floor, and as well as you can, the inner and outer foot equally balanced. So you might have to pour some attention down into the ball of the big toe so that you're not dropping out into the pinky side of the foot. Now feel your tailbone. Imagine you have a plumb line going through the center of the head, and think of the weight at the bottom of the plumb line. Imagine your tailbone like that weight. So it pulls down and the crown lifts up at the same time. This is a slightly different variation with the arms. So we're going to inhale and bring the arms just up to shoulder height, feeling the length between the tail and the crown. With your exhale, keep standing up tall. Rotate to the left. Reach your right hand around to the left shoulder and your left hand behind your back. And then stay there and inhale. And again, think of the distance between the crown and the tail. Then with your exhale, reach the right hand just a little bit down the left leg. And keep turning the spine and lengthening from crown to tail. Then inhale, come back up into the center. Think of that plumb line, tailbone dropping down, crown lifting up. And exhale, stay tall as you twist to the right. Wrap the right hand around, your left hand's going to come to the right shoulder. And inhale there, lengthening from crown to tail. Then with the exhale, keep that length as you bend down and just touch the outer thigh of the right leg. And inhale, float back up to the top. Tall from crown to spine. And exhale, bring the arms down to the sides. Picture the plumb line, feel the crown of the head lifted, the tail dropped. Inhale, arms float up. And exhale, stay tall through the center. Just rotate around your center line as you twist left. Your right hand's over to the left shoulder. Stay and inhale, lengthen from crown to tail. Then exhale, bend down. Bring the right hand onto the outside of the leg. Stay long from your crown to your tail. And inhale, come up to the top. Lengthen in the center. And exhale, rotate around your center line, bringing the left hand over to the right shoulder. And stay while you inhale. Tall from crown to tail. Then exhale, bend down. Don't go into a big bend. Just bring the hand to the outer thigh. Keep lengthening from crown to tail. And inhale back up to the center. Tall through the center line. And exhale, bring the arms down to the sides. Relax the shoulders. Do that again. Inhale, tall through the center line. And exhale, rotate around it. Wrap the right hand to the left shoulder. Stand tall and inhale. Then exhale, bend down, just touch the outer thigh, but keep the distance from crown to tail long. And inhale, come to the top. Lengthen up through the center line. And exhale, rotate. Left hand crossing to the right shoulder. Stand tall through the center line as you inhale there. And then exhale, bend down. Keep lengthening from crown to tail. And lift to the top on the inhale. Tall through the center line. And exhale, lower the arms. We're going to go one more time and stay. This time we're going to add the top arm once we get into the pose. So I want to remind you the direction that the chest is turned is the same direction that the palm faces. And your hand, when you lengthen it up, is going to stay directly above the shoulder. If your shoulder prefers to continue to rest on the back, that's perfectly valid variation. So you don't have to extend the arms up. If that doesn't feel like it's serving you, you can keep the hand on the back. Inhale, tall through the center line. Float the arms wide. Stay upright and rotate around the center line. Rotate to the left. Bring the right hand over to the left shoulder. And stand tall through the center as you inhale. Then exhale. We're going to bend down, reaching comfortably down the left leg. And then inhale, if you like, stretch the left arm up into the ceiling. The palm should be facing the same direction as the chest. And stay while you exhale. And stay while you inhale. Keep lengthening from crown to tail. Exhale, feel the belly pull in. And inhale, lengthen from crown to tail. Exhale, see if you can turn your breastbone a little bit more towards the ceiling. I don't mean just place the arm back. That doesn't help the spine. Turn the breastbone. Stay and inhale in the center. One more breath there. And then use your inhale to come up to the top. Feel your tall, long center line and rotate around to the right. Keep standing tall. Left hand is touching the right shoulder. Inhale, lengthen from crown to spine to tail. And exhale, bend down. Anywhere you're comfortable on that right leg. And with the inhale, extend the right arm up to the ceiling. Turn your palm to face the same direction as the chest. Stay while you exhale. Pull the belly to the spine. And stay while you inhale. Lengthen from crown to tail. Exhale, think of turning the chest more towards the ceiling. Do not bring your hand back farther than your shoulder is. Stay and inhale, lengthen from crown to tail. If it's better to have the hand on the back, then go ahead and do that. Do whatever helps you concentrate on the spine more. And then use an inhale to come to the top. Lengthen from the crown to the tail. And exhale, lower the arms down. Relax the shoulders. Then we're going to step to the back of the mat. Feel the sensation in the spine around the hips. This is another pose that demands a counter pose. The counter pose neutralizes the more dramatic effects of the back bend, this twist, and the side bend. That brings us back to initial spine. And we're going to use Ardha Utkatasana. As I mentioned on Tuesday, you want to drop your hips as low as you comfortably can with your hips on, with your feet on the floor, your heels on the floor. And the idea is, again, to stretch through the lower back. Relax and soften the upper back, but we never want to over-round the upper back. Feel the feet connected down onto the floor and the lift through the crown of the head. Already have some axial extension going. Chin is dropped, ears retracted. With the inhale, bring the arms forward and up. You want your palms facing each other. That helps the shoulders be open. And with the exhale, draw the belly in, bend the knees. And your hands can come to the front of the thighs or all the way down onto the floor. Gentle stretch for the lower back. Then inhale, raise the arms up first. Get your chest away from your thighs and then straighten your legs and come up. And with your exhale, lower the arms down the front. We'll do that 4 more times. Stand at your full height. Feel the axial extension. Inhale into it. Raise the arms forward and up with the palms facing, the chin staying down. Exhale, draw the belly into the spine as you bend your knees. Drape yourself gently over the legs. Relax the neck. Then inhale, lift the arms up. Open your chest away from your thighs before you straighten your legs. Then push up and straighten the legs. And with your exhale, bring the arms back down. So as you come up, you want to use your back thighs and your buttocks. Inhale, arms forward and up, palms facing, chin down. Exhale, hug the belly in. Fold forward, relax the shoulders, hang the head. And inhale, arms up. chest up, push into the feet, straighten the legs, come all the way up tall, chin is down. Exhale, arms down the front. One final time, keep the chin down as you inhale and raise the arms forward and up. And exhale, draw the abdominal wall back towards the spine as you gently round forward, relax the neck. Keep your chin down as you raise your arms up around your ears. Lift your chest up, then straighten the legs. And exhale, arms down the front. Relax the breathing. Feel the soles of the feet anchoring down, the crown of the head lifting up so that you're standing at your full height. Shoulders relaxed, chest open. Relax the breath. Keep your gaze steady on one spot. Keep the attention in the body. Please watch for a moment. We're going to do a version, the lateral version of Virabhadrasana. This is actually axial extension the whole time. We're not side bending or rotating except in the cervical spine. There are elements of the twist in the hips, but not the spine. So before you get into the position, just watch. This is done with the pelvis steady. One leg turns out to the side. You know this, that the pelvis stays still as the leg turns out. The pose is going to bring us here, where we have the arms wide, the one knee bent. And we want to make sure that we don't side bend or displace. So the spine, the crown of the head should be directly over the perineum, over the center of the pelvic floor the whole time. If you think of that plumb line, it's dropping down to the center. So don't displace the rib cage off to the side. The spine's going to stay really centered. When we get to the stay, we will also add a rotation of the neck, but that doesn't change the location of the central axis. So now take a comfortably wide stance. Remember the belt of muscles that you can pull across your hips. Buckle it low and keep the pelvis really still as you roll the left leg out in the socket. And you're going towards 90, but probably not all the way to 90. Look down and actually take a little test bend. When you bend your knee, it should point the same directions as your toes, not inside or outside. So the direction of the knee should be the same direction as the toes. Lengthen yourself up. You're probably going to need to pull your hips into the center. Like an old-fashioned typewriter, return, push to the left side. It's going to make you activate the left buttock. Think of the plumb line through the crown of the head, dropping right down to the center. Your tail should be feeling heavy towards the floor. Chest is lifted and open. Your breastbone, your belly button, your pubic bone, all pointing straight forward, and they will keep doing that the whole time. Okay, here's the repetitions. With the inhale, keep the spine long in the center. Raise the arms wide. Bend your left knee and push the left knee towards the wall behind you. You should feel the buttock working more. And then exhale, lower the arms and straighten your left leg. Pull your right hip into the center like the typewriter return. Inhale, raise the arms wide, bend your left knee, push the left knee towards the wall behind you. Keep centered in your spine and exhale. Lower the arms, straighten the left leg, pull your right hip in and underneath so that the center line stays in line. Inhale, arms come wide, bend the left knee and push it towards the wall behind you. Stay centered like the plumb line. Exhale, arms down, left leg straight, pull your right hip back in towards the center. Now we're going to get ready to stay. We'll add a rotation of the head, but don't lose anything that we've done so far. Inhale, kick the arms wide, bend the left knee and push the left knee towards the wall behind you. Now keep your chest pointing forward and exhale, look out over your left fingertips and stay in inhale. Feel yourself long from crown to tail. Stay in exhale, engage the belly, push your left leg back and your right hip back. And stay in inhale, think tall through the center. And exhale, push the left knee back, the right hip back. Inhale, lengthen up through the center line. And exhale, feel the belly working, push the left knee back, push the right hip back. One more breath like that. Inhale, tall through the center, lift in the chest. Exhale, push the left knee back, the right hip back. Then inhale, rotate your head into the center. And exhale, lower the arms, straighten the left leg, pull your right hip underneath you, stand tall in the center, unrotate the left leg, and then step both feet into the center for Samastiti. Just relax into the sensation. So you probably feel more in your hips than you do in your spine right now. That's appropriate because that's where we really did the most work. The axial extension may not give you such a dramatic effect, which is actually fine. So notice where you feel sensation. Keep trying to picture that plumb line dropping right down through the center line of the body. The spine is not perfectly, doesn't exactly mimic the plumb line because it has those natural curves. It crosses it. But we do want to have a sense of the top of the head, of there being a plumb line that drops right down through the top of the head. And it would come down right to the center between the feet. Okay, so that's a pretty dramatic asymmetrical pose, which of course we need to do on the same thing on the other side. We'll take the legs comfortably wide again. Take a moment to adjust the feet. Make sure you don't feel lazy and have the feet go to the outside of the foot. Feel the front and back of the foot and the inner and outer foot, both working equally. You might need to pour a little extra attention to the ball of the big toe. Then wrap your belts of muscles around the hips. Keep the pelvis completely still. Feel your plumb line so you're standing up tall. And then start to rotate the right leg out in the socket. Just turn the thigh bone. Don't anticipate how far it's going to go. Feel how your hips are staying still. Turn the toes out to the side. And then you can just verify when you bend the knee should go over the toes. If the toes are farther back than the knee, undo some of your rotation. We want the knee to be in line over the ankle when we bend it. That's actually quite important for your knee. Once you have that established, recenter yourself, be tall and lifted. Just maintaining this position is going to have you using the right buttock a little bit already. So remember, we keep the plumb line perpendicular to the floor the whole time. It doesn't lean off to the side at all. We're not displacing the ribs off to the side. Ribs stay over the pelvis. With the inhale, raise the arms wide, bend the right knee and push it towards the wall behind you. And then with the exhale, straighten the right leg, lower the arms, and push your left hip back into the center if it was trying to go off to the side. Inhale, take the arms wide, bend the right knee, push the right knee towards the wall behind you. Stay tall and centered in the plumb line. And exhale, arms come down, straighten the leg. Draw the left hip in towards the center. Again, inhale. Stay tall through the center as you raise the arms. Bend the right knee and push it towards the wall behind you. And then exhale, bring the arms down, straighten the leg, center the pelvis, lift tall through the crown. One last time, and we're going to go into the stay. Inhale, arms wide, bend the right knee, push it towards the wall behind you. As you exhale, rotate just the head, looking out over the right fingertips, the breastbone still pointing forward. Stay and inhale, think long from crown to spine. Stay and exhale, push your right knee back and your left hip back. Inhale, chest is open, front of the body forward. Exhale, belly strong as you push the right knee back, the left hip back. Inhale, lengthen through the center line of the body. Exhale, strong in the center as you push the right knee and the left hip back. One more complete breath there. Tall through the center on inhale. Feeling that rotation in the right hip on your exhale. Then inhale, rotate the head back into the center. And with the exhale, bring the arms down, straighten the right leg and pull your left hip towards the center. Lift tall through the crown. And then unrotate the right foot and step the feet back together. Rest in Samastiti, feel the sensations. Okay, let's take the legs wide for the counter pose, which will be a wide-legged forward bend. And we're going to keep the hands on the legs so you can concentrate on what's going on in the spine. As we bend forward, I want you to feel the top of your head and imagine the weight from the plumb line is now there as we go forward. And you're going to use the weight of the head to give the traction to the spine. I'm just going to go down for 4 breaths. Hands on the backs of the legs. Stand tall. Notice how your feet are. Again, careful not to roll to the outside of the foot. Evenly balanced front, back, side to side. Tall through the spine. There's a little axial extension here, supported and lifted. Inhale into your chest. And then exhale from the belly. Feel your lower back begin to stretch as you bend forward. Don't let yourself go back into the heels. Slide the hands down the legs. Let your head be heavy. Arms can stay on the legs or drop down onto the floor. And then staying, inhale. Nod your head yes and no a couple times and make sure that your neck is really relaxed. Stay and exhale and pull the belly button to the spine. Stay and inhale. Breathe into the back, the upper back. And as you exhale, pull the belly to the spine and lift your sit bones towards the ceiling. Relax the neck as you inhale into the back ribs. Exhale, draw the belly button up. Soften the upper body even more. Let the head be heavy on the spine. One more breath. Belly button to spine on exhale. Then with the hands on the backs of the legs, draw the crown of the head forward until you have a flat back. And then slide all the way up with the chin staying down, chest staying lifted and open. And then step back into Samastiti. Notice the sensations in the body. See if you can get the sense of the axial extension, the tallness through the center of the body without adding any tension to it. So it's lifted and supported and easeful. We're going to start working on downward dog. This is one of the most important places for axial extension. I want to show you a little stretch for the shoulders if your shoulders are tight when you do down dog. It's really important to get your arms up overhead. Even if your shoulders are very sore, my teacher said you have to get them up there at least once a day. So if you're having tightness in the shoulders, and if you get to the down dog and it feels hard to open the chest or it's hard to hold the position, you can try this. You're going to find something that is a comfortable reach up. I'm going to use the shelf, which is not exactly perfect. So something about here where you can comfortably get your arms up. And you reach up comfortably, and then your elbows will be bent, and then you just exhale and bend the knees. And so there I'm getting a passive stretch of the shoulders and come back up. So using gravity to help. And this is a position to get the arms around the ears, the elbows straight, is the position that we want in downward dog. When we're in the position, in the posture, the arms should be up around the ears. If it's hard to get your arms up around your ears, try that stretch. A mantle could work, or just make sure, obviously, that it's steady, whatever you're holding on to. So hold something that's a comfortable stretch up, and then do a knee bend, and you can use gravity to help you stretch the shoulders. So as we get into downward dog, the concept of axial extension is the important thing to notice first, which is why I say that you can do the pose with your knees bent. Sometimes it's better to do the pose with the knees bent, or just gradually straighten the legs as you do the pose. If your hamstrings are tight, something's got to give, and stretching the hamstrings is secondary to lengthening the spine and opening the chest. So first, most important elements get priority, always at the spine. We come down onto all fours. And I want everybody to try at least one repetition with the knees bent, so you can get the sense of the arms really being around the ears. Once you're on all fours, take a breath into the chest. And then as you exhale with your toes tucked under, push the floor away. Raise your hips, but keep your knees bent like you're going to try to touch your nose with your knees. And see how far you can get your sit bones up away from your hands. And then inhale, bring the knees back down. Let's do it a couple times like that. Keep the knees bent and keep the sense of the axial extension going, so that the top of the head and the tailbone are really far away from each other. Knees bent, chin tucked, and lower back down. Let's add awareness of the breath. Exhale, feel the abdominal wall pull in. Raise the hips up towards the ceiling. Push the floor away with the hands. Straight line from your wrist to your sit bones. Inhale and bring the knees back down with the chest open. One more time like that. Use your exhale, flatten the belly towards the spine. Keep the knees bent. Raise the sit bones as high as you can away from the hands. And then inhale the knees to the floor. Let's take a little break. Bring your hips back to your heels in child's pose. Relax the neck and shoulders. And allow the breath to breathe itself. Easy in the shoulders. Feel the gentle stretch in the back. Okay, we're going to work towards the legs straightening. For some of you, that's not even in the realm of possibility, so please continue to work with the knees bent. You're going to go to where you're getting a hamstring stretch, but not sacrifice the axial extension. Inhale, come up to all fours. Exhale, keep your knees bent, push the hands away, get your axial extension in place. And then as you inhale, lift up onto your tiptoes and see if you can keep your axial extension, your long extension from the spine. Then exhale, let the knees soften. Lengthen the back and inhale, the knees back down onto the floor. Open the chest. Exhale, hips to the ceiling with the knees bent. And then raise the hips higher and see what space that gives you to straighten out your knees without sacrificing the open chest. Bend the knees again. And then inhale the knees to the floor. If you need a break, go to child's pose. Exhale. Push the floor away as you lift the hips up. Keep your knees bent for now. Extend the spine from tail to crown. And then lift your hips and see if you can straighten your legs without letting your chest go forward. Your chest should not be moving. And bend the knees. Keep lifting your sit bones, pushing the floor away with your hands. Inhale. Knees to the floor, open the chest. We're going to go into stay for 4 breaths. Depending on your hamstrings and your Achilles tendons, your legs will be more or less straight and your heels will be further or closer to the floor. The element that I want you to not sacrifice is the axial extension. Now, as you're ready, push the hips up. You can start with the knees bent, the heels lifted, and then over the course of 4 breaths, you're keeping your axial extension, lifting your sit bones up towards the ceiling. Perhaps you're straightening your knees. Perhaps you're dropping your heels down, but never sacrificing the length from the crown to the tail. Make sure that your arms are around your ears. See if you can feel the ball of the index finger pressing down into the floor. Reach the sit bones away from that point. And you had 4 breaths like that. Inhale the knees down to the floor. Open the chest. And exhale. Move into the child's pose. Relax the back, the neck, the shoulders. I'm going to turn over onto the back. Line the back with your knees bent. Arms comfortably wide. Let the body relax down into the floor. And draw the knees into the chest. One hand on each knee, back of the neck long. With the exhale, hug your thighs in. Feel the lower back flatten. This is very gentle flexion, but it is flexion. And then inhale, move the knees away. And as the knees move away, you're just going back to a neutral curve. So we're not really going into extension here. Just natural curve. Pull the thighs in. Feel the back flatten, stretching the lower back. And inhale, move the knees away. Feel the natural lumbar curve there. Exhale, pull the thighs in. Feel the lower back flatten. Check the back of the neck is staying long. If your chin is jutting to the ceiling, put a pillow behind your head. Inhale, move the knees away. Feel the neutral spine. And one more time, pull in, flexing or flattening the lower back. And inhale, moving the knees away, going to your neutral lumbar curve. Now we're going to keep the neutral lumbar curve as we do some leg lifts up to the ceiling, not allowing the back to arch or to flatten. We're going to stay in axial extension, in other words, not into flat or arched back. You may want to have your hands supporting on your legs. If you don't need them, we're going to add an arm lift as well. That's up to you, but maintain this neutral curve in your lower back the whole time. With the inhale, stretch the feet up to the ceiling, and if you like, you can also raise the arms up overhead. Keep the natural lumbar curve, so we're in an axial extension, and then exhale, lower the arms, bend the knees. No change in the spine. In other words, we're keeping axial extension the whole time. Inhale, stretch the feet to the ceiling, reach the arms up and back, and exhale, bring the arms down, bend the knees. Again, inhale, stretch up with the feet. Remember, if you want your hands to support the legs, feel free to do that. And exhale, lower back down. And one more time. Inhale and stretch up. And exhale, come back down. Bring the knees into the chest for a moment. Then roll to your side, and we're going to come up and sit. There are a whole bunch of seated postures. You notice that I don't teach these very often, and it's because they're quite difficult for most Americans and probably not so helpful for most of you. So we're going to try a seated twist. Feel free to sit on something. If it's difficult for you to sit up, having your sit bones on the floor, your spine in axial extension, please sit on something. So let's take the left leg out in front and the right foot crossed over the left thigh. If that is too hard, you can have the right foot inside. So you can be sitting up on a blanket if you like. Left leg stretched out in front of you, right leg is bent. Feel both of your sit bones reaching down. We want to have that sense of the plumb line going straight up, not collapsed behind it, but straight up and lifted. Now as you inhale, extend the left arm up to the ceiling. Get very tall. And then as you exhale, you're going to bring your left hand to your right leg without slumping. Rotate on your center line and look out over your right shoulder. And then stay there while you inhale and lengthen. Reach your sit bones down and your crown up. And as you exhale, think of spinning around to the right. Keeping the axial extension up. On inhale, you lengthen. On exhale, you turn. Both sit bones are down. Lengthen the spine. One more breath. Let's allow the spine to rotate around the center line. And then come back into the center. And straighten the right leg out. So you may be seeing why I don't do seated postures that often. It's quite difficult if the hips or the back or anything is tight. the right leg out in front of you, bend the left knee. You could have the left foot inside or cross it over. Feel those sit bones down on your support. Think of that plumb line, lengthen up tall to the crown, and inhale, extend the right arm up. Imagine you're reaching and being lifted tall through the center, and then exhale, turn to the left. Bring your right hand onto your left knee. Spiral around, lengthen tall to the crown of the head. With your exhale, think of spinning to the left around the center line. And with your inhale, lengthening up, staying attached, grounded in the sit bones and lifted through the crown. Your exhale, you turn a little farther to the left, and on your inhale, you lift and lengthen through the center. 2 more breaths. And then come back into the center. And let's go right down onto the back with the knees into the chest. Take a moment before we actually do Apanasana to feel in the spine and the hips the effects of the twist. And when you're ready, exhale, hug the thighs in close. And inhale, move the knees away. Feel the natural lumbar curve showing itself. Shoulders are still relaxed. Exhale, pull the belly button in and draw your thighs in close. Feel the lower back stretch. The whole back is pressing down to the floor. Hopefully that feels really good. And inhale, breathe into the chest. Move the knees out away from the chest. And exhale, gently pull in. So if you ever have a day when your back feels a little tight, try this. This is about the gentlest exercise you can do. It's very simple, really basic, and also very effective. If your back is tight, just do this first thing in the morning before you start to ask your body to move around. Do it after you've done some kind of work, and do it at the end of the day before you go to bed. Okay, as you're ready, bring the feet down to the floor. Relax the arms wide. So in this position, hopefully that your back feels comfortable and relaxed. When you straighten your legs out, we want to still have a sense of ease and comfort in the lower back, even though the curve increases. So as I mentioned the other day, if you're having any pain in the lower back and final relaxation, take your blanket and fold and roll it up, and then put that behind the knees. So you have some support behind the knees. That will decrease the lumbar curve, and then you can hopefully really relax. So come to final relaxation. Knees stretched out, long and comfortably. Legs about as wide as the mat. And feel free to take some support underneath the knees. Let the thighs relax. The legs will be a little bit rolled out in the socket. Take a moment to settle the back of the pelvis. Relax the legs all the way from the feet to the hips. And relax the belly. Feel the length of the torso release towards the floor. Check that the shoulder blades are flat and broad, arms far enough away from the body that the shoulder blades can be flat and spread out wide. If you feel cold, you can keep the arms the shoulders relaxed and just fold the palms to rest on the belly. You can do that with a relaxed shoulder position. Check your neck. As you settle into relaxation, feel free to roll it from side to side a couple times. It's fine to have some support behind the head. You do want to feel a little length at the back of the neck rather than letting the chin jet to the ceiling. We should have no strain in the neck, so feel free to use a pillow to bring the head up a little bit if that helps. Soften the face. Settling into a comfortable, relaxed, neutralizing rest. Give all the muscles of the face. We're normally expressing ourselves with those muscles. The moment, let the face be non-expressive and soft. Relax all the way up to the scalp. Let the breath breathe itself in and out at its own pace. It's fine here if the breath is very shallow, very short, or it might be long and deep. Just let go of the control and let it breathe itself. And keep releasing tension into the floor. body resting against the floor. Prepare for movement. Begin by slowly moving your fingers and your toes. Introduce movement slowly, gently. As you're ready, inhale and stretch the arms all the way up overhead to the floor behind you. Get yourself reaching long. If you notice the spine, it's going to be a little arched, a little extended there. See if you can exhale and press the spine down towards the floor. Do some spinal flexion. That's going to give you a stretch in the back of the body. And relax that. And pull your knees into your chest. Again, that is a gentler way of stretching the back of the body. Then roll to the right side. Take a moment on the right side with the knees bent. As you're ready, gently push yourself up into a seated position. Sit up on something. My hips are quite loose and I still elevate my hips. So really important to have some support under you and have enough support. And please, I was very happy to know that someone's sitting on a chair. Feel free to sit on a chair. We don't want pranayama and meditation to be about your hips and your back being uncomfortable. So you're going to find a position where you can sit tall. Again, feel free to support the hips and the knees by putting something under the knees if you're in a cross-legged position. Also be mindful, if you sit cross-legged, try to switch which leg is in the front from time to time, so you're not always using the same leg in the front. If you're on a chair, legs parallel, feet down on the floor, staying away from the back of the chair. So everybody find a position where you can feel the axial extension. The sit bones dropping down, the crown of the head reaching up. And differentiate between the crown and the chin. We don't want the chin lifted, we want the very top of the head lifted, which actually tilts the chin down a little and retracts the ears. Then the shoulders are relaxed. Place the hands where it's comfortable to work with them. We'll do some breathing. And what I'd like to do today is to think of the inhale as a horizontal movement. So, of course, we're going to breathe in and down, but then you're going to think of the way it moves outward. And we're going to think of the exhale as being an upward movement through the spine. So we're going to have this vertical and horizontal interaction. So we're sitting tall and expanding back and forth, interplay between the tallness through the center of the body and the openness and expansion of the chest. Sitting again, well rooted through the sit bones. Find the axial extension, the crown of the head up, the shoulders relaxed. And then as you inhale, breathe through the breastbone and imagine the breath moving out past your shoulders, out wide. And then as you exhale, start at your sit bones and breathe the breath up the plumb line all the way to the crown of the head. Notice you're getting your axial extension a little bit more supported. And inhale, breathe out from the center horizontally. And exhale, feel the verticality of the breath starting at the sit bones and lifting you up tall through the center. Inhale, feel the breath moving horizontally from the breastbone outwards. And exhale. exhale, feel the breath moving vertically from the sit bones upwards. Good slow ujjayi breath. Continue like that on your own. Experiment with this idea. Now relax the breath. I'm going to sit for a couple more minutes. If you would like to switch which foot is in front, if you're in a cross-legged position, do that. I'm going to reconnect with the asana. This is an asana. Asana simply means seat. So this asana, whichever way you're sitting, has the sit bones rooting down, the tailbone dropping down, the crown of the head lifting up, the breastbone lifted and open, and the shoulders relaxed. Hips easy and comfortable as they can be. Now the breath relaxed. We do want to keep the axial extension going, but now relax the active portion of the breath. Simply notice the breath moving in and out. And as in Shavasana here, let it do what it does naturally. It may become very short and shallow. That's okay. Just place your attention at the end of the nose and watch the flow of the breath. And in the background, just be aware of the body sitting comfortably and tall, being open and stable. You're maintaining that axial extension throughout. I'm going to sit for about 2 minutes. Keep drawing the awareness back to the breath whenever it wanders. Feel your sit bones. Let them drop down into the support of your seat. Feel the crown of the head lifting. Notice that axial extension. Feel that the chest is open in this position. Shoulders relaxed. Slowly open your eyes. Namaste. So an awareness exercise for you. You can try when you sit down for a meal or at your computer. When you first sit, see if you can root down through the sit bones. Don't collapse into the back of the chair, and find that sense of lift through the center line of the body. You probably won't maintain it for the whole meal or the whole time you're doing your work, but you could start there so you have several times throughout the day when you have that awareness. And we will do another class with back bends. I had a request for some up dog practice, so that will be coming. If there's any other specific postures that you would like to work on, let me know. Probably won't be next week. On Tuesday, we'll do a Thanksgiving class, and I think that we will not do a class on Thanksgiving. So again, let me know if you have any other questions, specific postures that you would like to address, and see if you can feel this sense of axial extension. It's a great thing to do if you're standing in line somewhere. You know, root the feet down, drop the tail down, lift the crown up, relax the shoulders. You feel much better than if you're dropping or hunching. It's a great place, a little awareness check for throughout the day. All right, hope you're all doing well. Thank you. Hi, Linda. Hi, Pat. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.